Let's go to wide receivers, where, boy, this one is not just the bye weeks, but we'll start there. Zay Flowers, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, DeAndre Hopkins, Joshua Palmer, who did get hurt, by the way, so keep an eye on him. Rashad Bateman, Dalton Kincaid, who didn't play, and Mark Andrews. But I think what you're more likely here for is to replace one of these guys that are very unlikely to play, besides a few that are pending. Puka Nacua with the ankle, Emeka Ibuka with the hamstring. Garrett Wilson had an MRI that came back with positive news, but he still could miss the next couple games before their bye. Marvin Harrison Jr. with that concussion. Calvin Ridley, who we brought up with the hamstring. Dontavian Wicks. We know Juwan Jennings is playing through 9 different injuries, so even if you could play him, it might not be great results. George Kittle's trying to work his way back.
Yeah,
so
there is a chance Kittle
that's the
plays
most
this week.
optimistic one on this list. Kittle is trying to work his way back. Brock Bowers has been out with the knee, and David Njoku got banged up, so keep an eye on his status as well.
And I do think, I think they're going to be extra cautious with Njoku because he is rumored to be on the trade block, and so the last thing you want to do is, like, if you're trying to trade him, you don't want that asset to get further hurt. I don't know what's going on with my voice. I apologize.
This is what a lifetime of diet soda does to you. It catches up to you.
I'm drinking water. This is water right here, boys. I don't know.
It left with your guillotine team.
Yeah.
They took the trip together.
Indeed.
Might have, and my hair. Don't forget that, and all my loved ones. Anyway, those are the injuries we're tracking, and I agree with you. Those are the bigger holes that you're going to see this week. Then you're not really concerned about none of the Ravens are available to me. None of the, you're probably actually you're more likely to need a tight end based on buys. No Mark Andrews, no Dalton Kincaid, who didn't miss last week, versus. But again, like a lot of big name injury wide receivers, chances are you're missing somebody this week.
Well, let's look at the wide receivers, and Kendrick Bourne is back on the list at 65% available. The Niners have just had an array of injuries to this entire team. Kendrick Bourne has stepped up in the absence, and Jay, as I said, even if Juwan Jennings plays, and we're waiting to see what Ricky Pearsall does as well, Jennings is so banged up right now that Bourne is a factor.
Yeah, until he proves his health and performance, I'm just going to go forward with the assumption that Juwan Jennings is now below Kendrick Bourne in the pecking order, whether it's Brock Purdy or Mac Jones at quarterback, and then Pearsall is the real complicating factor. Kittle is the complicating factor as well. But I do think that this offense is going to reorient as these guys get healthier. Christian McCaffrey can't just keep catching 8 passes every week. Like, they just can't keep doing that. It's going to distribute more usage to Kittle and to the wide receivers. So I think that Bourne actually has a bit of staying ability until they are fully healthy.
He's had over 23% target share each of the last 2 weeks. They're at home to the Falcons, traveling to the West Coast on a short week. That Falcons secondary is pretty impressive, but still, just volume gets him there, especially if Mac Jones is back under center. There's a chance that Brock Purdy comes back, but there's clearly a connection between Jones and Kendrick Bourne, friend of the podcast, Kendrick Bourne. But even if Kittle is back, even if Ricky Pearsall, it still feels like we've seen enough from Kendrick Bourne. Like, he's got 2 different games with over 140 receiving yards.
Yep.
That he's in what is a week is a viable option.
Yeah, I think no matter, even if Pearsall comes back, even if Kittle comes back, I still think Kendrick Bourne is the number 1 pass catcher on the Niners this week when you factor in the injuries that those guys are coming off.
I think what would need to change is that continue with Brock Purdy because of Purdy's connection with everybody else. But we'll see. The bottom line is you could play the Bourne identity, as Aloha Brick says right now. Should we pick up Bourne or Pearsall?
A Bourne ultimatum, if you will.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Thank
That's
you.
well done.
Yeah, while
well
you're
played.
over there dying slowly, I'm trying to save
the
us
show.
here. Bourne or Pearsall? I'd say Pearsall long term is the better option, and he has the rapport with Purdy. But for 1 week, for this week, I think it's pretty close. But long term, certainly Pearsall.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, it's all contextual. What do you need somebody for this week, or do you just looking for upside? So I agree with Jay. It is Bourne in the. What's the third? There's a third one. There's the Bourne Ultimatum.
Bourne Supremacy.
Bourne Supremacy. There you go. Exactly.
To me, they slowly kind of.
Yeah.
It ran its course by like.
By the time Jeremy Renner
Jeremy
at the
Renner,
end.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner came in for once. It was just, Matt
Identity
Damon
was the
there.
best one.
But the first one was amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Honestly, that trilogy.
It's great
that
cinema.
trilogy
Heavy
was
meat
great.
sauce, Barry's exposed ankles have caught up to him, and he caught a cold. I think he's just choking on water, to be honest with you.
Might be. I don't know.
think
There's
he's
something
sick.
got in my throat.
I think
don't
it's
think
the
I'm
diet
sick.
soda slowly eroding your insides.
Somebody
It
need
might
to check
be.
on the Diet Cochler.
Yeah, the Diet Coke.
Diet
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
It's an upgrade from the excuse slur.
I don't know that it is, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, yeah. Whatever. I'm going to go watch The Bourne Identity.
All right,
sure.
That's good. Jay and I'll do the rest.
That's great. Thanks. Be great.
We'll talk about Josh Downs.
Yeah, Josh Downs is 51% available. He meets our threshold. He's got the Chargers. Been a good 2 weeks here for Josh Downs, and shockingly, Matthew, something he doesn't do a lot. He scored in Week 6. That doesn't seem sustainable, but is the target share.
Yeah, I mean, look, over the last 2 games, it started to creep up with a 25% target share. A.D. Mitchell basically on the in the doghouse. Alec Pierce came back last week, but it does feel like it is starting to settle in with Michael Pittman, Tyler Warren, and now Josh Downs as the third option in this passing attack. That's obviously better than people think. 6 for 42 and a touchdown. Look, the challenge here is that this is still a run-oriented team. He's still only playing in the slot, right? He had a 63% route participation on the year. And so I think he's more of a, in a bye week for a 12-team team, 3 wide receivers. I don't know that he's a shallower league option. But in a deeper league, I think he could potentially be useful. It is a nice matchup with the Chargers, Jay. They allow the 4th most yards after the catch to opposing slot receivers. And so that is where Downs is lining up the most part. And we have seen over Daniel Jones has actually done a really nice job this year, but traditionally Daniel Jones is more comfortable in the middle of the field when he throws there.
Yeah, it's a testament to the Colts' depth, my beloved Colts, who, by the way, AFC is looking pretty open at the moment. Don't be surprised if the Colts are in an AFC title game. They feel destined to lose to Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes ultimately, but this team is really good. This offense is absolutely humming. And the fact that Josh Downs is basically a 4th option in this offense, like Josh Downs is really, really good.
Yes.
And I think the concern for him in terms of his fantasy upside is that he can be really, really good and still be 6 for 42. Now, he still got into the end zone, and that helps, but it's just like Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman, they operate in the same kind of zones on the field as Josh Downs, and Pierce is more the guy who's on the outside as the deep ball threat. But I think that Downs, just because of the talent and because he seems to have this rapport with Daniel Jones now, he can be a viable flex guy. I just don't think there's that much ceiling in this offense. This passing game, the identity of this passing game is Tyler Warren at the moment.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He's never been a big red zone threat. He's never been a big touchdown scorer. And I'm trying to remember the play. I saw the play live. I haven't rewatched it, but I don't think he was the first option on that. I seem to remember Daniel sort of scrambling around, and he found Downs in the Daniel Jones. Scrambled around and found Downs in the back of the end zone. But it wasn't like that was a designed play. It was more fluky. So I agree with you. I think there's probably more floor than ceiling when it comes to Josh Downs.
How about the Bucs trio, guys? And I'm not talking about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka. I'm talking about the 3 healthy players, and Sterling Shepard, 95% available, Tez Johnson, 99% available, and Cameron Johnson, 99% available. They got the Lions this week. There could be a lot of points in that game, Matthew. Everybody's trying to figure out who is the wide receiver you want to pick up amongst the 3.
And I think you ranked them in the right order. When you announce them, that's the order I would do it. I would do Sterling Shepard, then Tez Johnson, then Cameron Johnson. Sterling Shepard, he's had 3 games with at least a 15% target share, and he's got double-digit fantasy points in 2 of those 3 games as well. Tez Johnson, obviously, he's a nice prospect, made the great catch. We love that. Thought he was getting the MVP chance. We love his humility at the end. It was a lot of fun. 84% route participation for Tez Johnson as well, which we like. But just Sterling Shepard, more the veteran, more he's been on this team before, more of a connection with Baker Mayfield. Tez basically had the big one play, had the one big play. He had 3 targets. He earned 3 targets in this game. Now again, Egbuka left, halfway through the game, but to me that's the ranking: Shepard, Tez Johnson, Cameron Johnson. That's how I'll have them ranked in my ranks this week.
Yeah. Also, I think Sterling Shepard may have some staying power as well because Evans has still got to come back off the hamstring. Chris Godwin, at this point, I'm just not expecting a great deal from him this year with the seriousness of that fibular injury, and then Emeka Egbuka. And to the best of my knowledge, there's been no actual reporting on what grade of strain that he has. But there's still a chance that Emeka Egbuka could be out longer than just 2 weeks into the bye. So you look at the Bucs' schedule going forward, Lions, Saints, those are dream matchups. And you may not think so of the Lions because their season ranks are pretty good, but Connor, coming into the season, top 2 corners on the Lions, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, the superstar safety duo, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. There's a good chance that all 4 of those guys don't play, and if Joseph does, he might be dragging his leg.
Very, very good chance. They are down to basically 2nd and 3rd string players at every position in the secondary. So this is and Baker's one of those guys, we said this yesterday, like he kind of just finds a way to lift up players Where I really like the floor, Sterling Shepard with Tez, though, you'd be hoping for a big play touchdown because that's a lot of his game. Maybe he gets a couple screens now that they practice with him for a week. Yeah. But, yeah, there should be a lot of points in this game, and somebody has to catch these passes.
And once again, remember, no Bucky Irving in this game. You know, they started to get Cade Otton a little bit more involved. But, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think Shepard, again, more the veteran player, becomes interesting. Tez Johnson, more of a flyer.
To recap, Kendrick Bourne, Josh Downs, Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, and Cameron Johnson are at the top of our waivers. And then the deeper league targets, Trey Tucker is still out there, as is Christian Kirk, Alec Io Manor, who, if Calvin Ridley is out, Io Manor should get a fair share of Cam Ward's targets. Kayshon Boutte and Luther Burden, who definitely has some explosive playability. It's just a usage question with the rookie and Burden.
We'll get more into him as we talk about those games a little bit, but season highs in target share and route participation in Week 6 for Luther Burden. Christian Kirk, by the way, it's just worth noting, like, again, because they were in the bye last week, but he's started to come back, getting a little bit healthier for this Texans offense. It's looked better more recently. Seahawks allow the 5th most receptions per game to the slot, which is obviously where Kirk lines up a decent amount. Also, by the way, no Puka Nacua, so we expect Tutu Atwell back this week. Jordan Whittington is there as well. So
probably no Puka Nacua. He may play. McVay said he's day to day, so we'll see. I don't think he'll play, but it wouldn't be the most shocking thing.
We'll know more tomorrow.
Exactly. We'll know more tomorrow there as well. Very quietly, Trey Tucker has at least 60 yards in 3 of the last 4 games.
And also, Jacoby Myers might not be on that team in 2 weeks.
Feels best for both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
seems destined to be a Steeler.
Yeah, it's maybe, yeah.
Steelers will make a move for somebody, a wide receiver. It's just a matter of who. Maybe Alan Lazard.
Well,
there you go. You could dream. You can only
when you're
dream.
Thinking about Jacoby Myers and you end up with Alan Lazard.
There you go. Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed would be a good one there.
Randall Cobb come out of retirement for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh.
So it's a possibility.
Wouldn't
rule it out. It was so good a couple years ago with the Jets.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. I mean, Steelers make a lot of sense for Jacoby Myers, for sure. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.